Welcome to Let's Talk Health.
We have a very special show today, and you know, when you think about how much community is important for us and how many churches are important because people have community there, they have friends, they meet them, and this is a very big part of Pastor Cleddie that we're going to talk with today. That's his mission has been.
Finally, science has caught up in the last decade or so to the incredible significance about bonding with people. Yeah. And this is as impactful to your longevity and health as is your diet, exercise programs, environment, etc. It's just amazing to us in a time where the powers that be are trying to separate all of you and trying to take your personalities away by masking you, that we are at the same moment realizing that you can live years longer and the quality of your life dramatically increases by that bonding and companionship. But the powers that be forever have known that you separate and you then can control. And it's all done by fear. And one of the things we were saying just before we went on air today is how incredibly the faith and community has been for the addiction community. Alcoholics and drug addicts. Many times it's been the synagogues and the churches and the temples around the globe that have bonded together to help these suffering people. But we can do this in our own home too. And you know, you have to remember that family inherently occurred through biological evolution, but there is a reason for that. Yeah. And in years gone past, unfortunately, the bygone years, family was always there for you. Mom and dad, the stability of a home, and that's not existing anymore. The parents have seemed to become the television set, the computer. There are two people working, and it's required today. More than 65% of the families require that both people work just to pay the bills. We're not talking about thriving and flourishing. And because of all of that, I think there's more of a need to get back to a community base.
Yeah, and then, you know, family is the core. It's the core of all societies. That's who build the societies. And if we are messing with that, like we're doing now, and you know, bringing people apart and doing the opposite of what we should be doing, and we're teaching children to be afraid.
That's right.
And be afraid that they're coming into grandma's house and they could hurt her. I mean, this is unheard of. So there's a lot of loneliness, and we need to change. We need to realize that you have the power. You change your life. Get your immune system in order. Start to walk and exercise. Start swimming. Take any exercise class you can. And because things are opening now, and you can. And don't be afraid to be around your loved ones, because there's no way that God made you so that you would hurt somebody. If I have a flu, I'm not going to go home, yes. But if I don't, I want to be around my loved ones. And that's how it was made. That's how we were supposed to be.
That's right. And recognize that fear is your greatest enemy. And we watch every single day of our life, the gift we have, our work here at Hippocrates. People come to us in fear. They've been talked to by systematic control of the pharmaceutical industry, and to be subservient and to be dependent. And this takes away a person's soul, takes away a person's potential, and unfortunately, hope. And when you understand the significance of that, you must recognize that you have to do everything in your power, all of your waking hours, to abolish fear. Face fear. Ask questions. The only two things that will take fear away is knowledge, and number two, love. So once you have knowledge and once you have love, nobody is ever going to control you. As a matter of fact, you'll be back in control of your life the way it's supposed to be.
And that's why Pastor Cleddie and his wife came here, to change their life and to have a chance to improve their health like everybody else that comes here. And people come here with families. We have a lot of kids here right now. And, you know, he's just been amazing and such a humble man that has helped other people while they were here. So the 21 day has improved his health immensely.
We have a very, very special guest here at Hippocrates who's going to be a guest with you now in your homes all over the world, Pastor Cleddie. And we're going to be right back to speak to him.
Do you want stronger immunity and powerful health? For 7 decades, Hippocrates Health Institute has been teaching people how to boost their immunity and take charge of their health as a pioneer of raw and living food, plant-based nutrition, and applied lifestyle medicine. Our clean and pristine 60-acre resort in West Palm Beach, Florida, is the backdrop for our team to foster people's transformation into an extraordinary existence. We are equipped with today's most relevant and powerful tools for boosting and recharging your immune system, including organic gourmet food, energy medicine, coaching and psychotherapy, elite fitness programs and fitness center, exceptional guidance, knowledge and education, organic salon therapy center, and recreational pools, spas, and saunas. Since mid-20th century, Hippocrates Health Institute has provided guests from people like you all the way to celebrities with the tools to embrace their ability to achieve outstanding health either by visiting the Institute or taking our online program. Come and join us at our renowned and historic tropical oasis. Unwind, de-stress, experience renewed energy, and take charge of your future with our scientifically validated lifestyle. Hippocrates Health Institute at www.hippocratesinst.org or call us at 561-471-8876.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Health.
Today we're here with Pastor Cleddie, and who's been in the ministry for a lifetime, I would say.
60 years.
60 years.
Yeah.
You started at 1.
Well, after being here, I feel like I'm a lot younger here at Hippocrates. This has been a wonderful experience.
You look amazing.
So tell us what it's like to actually help people. I mean, ministry is not just about getting on a pulpit and preaching to people about God. Tell me the work that you've been doing for that 6 decades.
Well, I started out, of course, like everybody else, just embarrassing myself. Matter of fact, I could tell that I was in the right place because the Bible says the poor will have the gospel preached to them, and I could tell by the offering that I was in the right place. But I told my wife, I asked her if she'd marry me, and I was in a trade, and I did make good money for a young man, and so she didn't want to be in the ministry because her father had been a minister, and that's all she had ever known. And so I asked her to marry me, and she said, I'll never marry a minister. I said, well, at least go hear me speak one time, please, go hear me speak once. And so she went with me, and on the way home, she said, I changed my mind. I will marry you. I said, well, what was it that I said that was so, moving that you decided to marry me? He said, oh, it wasn't what you said. He said, I figured after hearing you, what little preaching you were going to do wasn't going to hurt anyway. And so she says the joke is on her, but, I think probably in ministry, you just kind of go where God leads you. And so I pastored small churches, and then I was associate with my father-in-law, who was a great faith preacher. He was a real man of character, a very godly man. And then at the same time, we've been blessed to have the privilege to work in the streets. A lot of ministers have never had that experience. They've just had a pulpit as a barrier, to hide behind. But we had to go into the streets of Houston back in the 70s when the Vietnam War was raging, and we worked with drug addicts and people that could not do anything to help us. In other words, I was pouring my life into them. It was an unselfish thing that God led us into. And out of that, I think real ministry was born. I don't think ministry was born because I could get up and speak, or I could have something to say, or I could study myself full and pray myself empty. I think probably when I really got to where human need was and began to deal with people that were hurting. I was thinking about what you just asked me, and I was thinking about my main ministry probably is reference. Yes. That when people call me and they want help, then I know it's over my head. When it's over my head, I go over my head. I don't try to answer. I had a lady call me yesterday, Brian, and she wanted to know about Hippocrates because I put just a little FaceTime video on, and people were hitting it all over, America and other parts of the world. And I know you have so many people that come from other nations and other continents, but there's people that realize that in medicine, it's a practice. They're practicing on us.
You're not kidding.
Somebody told me, said, "Are you a guinea pig?" I said, "Oh no, I'm not a guinea pig. I've lost 10 pounds in less than 3 weeks. And I feel healthier. I've ridden a bicycle every day. Gaynell and I've never taken 3 weeks vacation ever, just she and I. And I think maybe one reason she didn't think she could stand me for 3 weeks. But we've relaxed. People have told me before, they said, if Cleddie dies, we're going to stand him in the doorway and just let him stand there because it's going to take 3 weeks for his body to quit moving. And I think there's a lot of pastors and a lot of professional people, they don't know how to rest. And I just want to say thank you for this place because it has helped me rest, and it's helped me slow down and get in another gear and just become, really a servant to my own health at this point because I'm learning some things that I would have never learned had I not come here.
Well, as you know, when you're on a plane, they say to you, if we have trouble, you put your mask on first before you can help others. So let's hope when you go back you can pastor and help more people. And how big are the churches and how widespread are the churches that you?
Well, I've had the privilege of preaching all over the world. And really, our church is a good size. We have 3 different congregations of people. We have a French church, Hispanic church. On Friday nights, we may have 50 to 100 people that are coming off drugs that are in the church, and their stories are unbelievable. I tell people, when God touches a person's life, he gives them a story. And then the power is in the telling. It's just like, it just compares to what happens here. I was talking with one of the fellows that had prostate cancer for 11 years, I think, but he's come here, he's done everything he can, as following the diet and the things that you guys prescribe. And he would have died. But he knows that because he began to eat healthy, it changed his life. But he had to change his lifestyle to do that. It's the same way when you preach the gospel to people that are addicted. That word addiction is only used one time in the Bible. It said a man named Stephanus was addicted to the work of the saints. In other words, he was sold to it. Now, his name, Stephanus, means king. And so I believe really that the parallel between what you're doing, helping people, and what we're doing is one and the same.
Absolutely.
Because we're all God's creatures.
Absolutely.
This teaching, what we do here together with yours, should be everywhere. I wish everybody could get the information, because most people never do. They're in the dark when it comes to their health, and to their emotional health too. I mean, we're 4% of the world's population. We take 50% of the opioids in the world. That talks for itself. Yeah. We're unhappy.
Well, it's a very difficult thing to do. And of course, you and I have talked about Sweden. That's your homeland.
Yes.
And I love the Swedish people. I ministered for the bigger part of 2 decades in Sweden, and so I know Sweden pretty well. But you know, when I first went there, I was dealing with a place called Kristen Utmaning, Christian Challenge.
Yes.
And so I learned a great deal from the youth of that generation. And then my friend who was the head of that work there, his name was Erland Stromquist. Stromquist.
What a memory.
I can't say Q-U-V-I-S-T.
Not the way they do.
Not the way I do it. But I learned a lot there. And I learned they eat different than we do. They eat like, they eat like several times a day. I mean, when I would leave there, I'd weigh 10 pounds more. Because it was always, let's have some cheese and some crackers.
I know.
And what's that crazy fish you got?
Oh, God, let me tell you.
What is that? They take it and they bury it under a house in a can for 1 year.
Surströmming.
But we're going to be back in just a moment and talk more about what not to eat, this unbelievable stinky fish. Be right back.
At Hippocrates, you will have access to personalized consultations with our medical team, forging your own path. Indulge in daily lectures to ensure you are up to date with the latest knowledge, and also learn from us how to implement our unique enzyme-rich cuisine into your life. There are daily exercise classes afforded on our open-air campus and in our pools. Or you can rest and enjoy the rays while watching the wildlife. Work out at our fitness center. Lounge in our numerous infrared saunas, steam room, mineral bath, cold plunge, organic garden, spa facility, and health store. Experience the power of our incredible living food plant-based diet and the impact this has on how you feel, think, and look, while observing shifts in the multiple body and mind evaluations. Meet other like-minded guests from around the world, rebuilding their lives and future alongside you, making new friendships that are often lifelong. Visit us now or learn from us online to take charge of your health. Contact Hippocrates Health Institute at www.hippocratesinst.org or call us at 561-471-8876.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Health.
And now we're going to spend a moment showing this lovely man having fun, following around here on the property at Hippocrates.
Hippocrates is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. My favorite place in the world. You know, I've found out something about what God has raised up here. It's very special, folks. And I've never been a vegan. I don't know that I'll be able to be a total vegan. I've been a Mexican food freak ever since I think my mother was giving me Mexican food when I was probably 3 months old. But the beauty of it is that you can learn. You can teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah,
that's right.
And so we've been on this menu, and this week, and I'm telling you, I'm healthier, I feel better. They took my blood sugar. My blood sugar has dropped. And I had been in the hospital, I didn't tell you this, for 4 days before I came here because my potassium level dropped low. Well, you can have a heart attack with low potassium or high potassium, but my potassium level is coming up.
Yep.
And so I'm very grateful for this time that we've had here.
Wow, you see how much fun he's had here, and everybody does. So Cleddie, your ministry brought you all over the world.
I've traveled, to many nations and preached the gospel, spent a lot of time in Africa, India. We built 20 churches in Mexico and 2 orphanages over the years. We used to say our pastime, what we did for fun, was go build churches in Mexico. But, the main thing is that you have to have a team around you.
Yes.
And what you guys have here, you have a team. Even this production studio, you've got a beautiful team that's working with you, and they understand what you're trying to do to help people. Now, there are a lot of ways to help people. I heard about one guy that had a bad cold, couldn't get rid of his cold, and he went to the doctor, and the doctor gave him a prescription, gave him some antibiotics. Right. He saw him on the street a couple of weeks later. You know what? The guy still had the cold. He said, "How are you doing?" He said, "Well, I still got a bad cold, Doc." He said, well, let me ask you a question. What have you been doing? He said, well, I've been fishing a lot. He said, well, it's rained every day for the last 2 weeks. He said, I know, I've been fishing in the rain. Now, I felt like this. What am I going to do when I leave here? I'm going to have to find out how to change some of my diet. I don't know that I can change it all. But if I was 30-70, or you know what I'm saying, if I was 70-30, that would make a difference. And then to choose the food that you've prescribed for me, and then I think that's what everyone that walks away from here. Nobody can duplicate this. It's your idea. I believe Hippocrates was God's idea.
I do too.
I don't think you're smart enough. I don't think any of us are smart enough. I don't really think we are to do something like this.
I think we're humble servants like you are.
That you've helped people.
Yeah.
You've helped people for 30 years. Now, I want you to know this. I call it Shangri-La yesterday when I was doing a little video thing. And I'm going to tell you, this is like Shangri-La. And I asked him, how did it start out? Well, I want you to know, before they came in here, before Anna Marie and Brian came in here, you should have seen this place before they took it over. Everybody said it was just, boy, God did something beautiful here. Well, right across the street from this property is the same kind of land and same kind of foliage and the same kind of trees as what these were. And it's not like this.
No.
It's because you're the Walt Disney of Hippocrates. You're the Walt Disney of health around the world. This is a go-to place from all over the world. People come here. Right now they can't because of COVID, but there are people that are coming now, and it's beginning to build up. When you come in, they take your blood sugar, they test you, they wand your head. It's not a magic wand, it's just check your fever, and they do everything they can to make this place safe. And I just want to say one more time, you know, this has been a special experience for my wife and I.
Well, we appreciate it. And your wife is like a different person.
Right.
It's so wonderful to watch.
Well, Gaynell she's lost inches, you know, and then she's lost some weight as well. And I'm not going to tell you how much because I won't even ask her age. But the thing about it is that we're living in a day where people, you know, did you know that until the year 2000, folks, did you know this? Till the year 2000, there was only 2 new diseases a year. Only 2. After the year 2000, with all the genetics and with all the DNA testing, there are now 2,000 new diseases every year.
Right.
And so you don't know what they're coming up with, and they don't have time to test for these 2,000 new diseases, Brian. And a lot of people don't know that we're living in a fast-changing world.
Well, what's really interesting is 2,000 diseases, and every single year around the globe, chemists create 2,000 brand new chemicals. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. So a lot of these diseases come from the mishaps of industry and greed.
You know, Adam and Eve got in trouble by taking a bite. And people that come here, they got in trouble by taking too many bites of the wrong thing.
That's right.
You know, our body needs to heal every day. And that's physically, but it's also spiritually. It needs to heal every day. I think we're bombarded with so much stress, and it's a jungle of information. It's too much.
Well, you know, it's been a pleasure to have you here, you and your wife. And we hope you just continue to help to save lives out there. And we look forward to having you back in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for allowing us the privilege to be with you today.
Until next week, let's talk health.